One of the defining characteristics of a pandemic, such as COVID-19, is the incredible amount of uncertainty that it creates. For example, as I'm recording this today, the plan for my kids' return to school is still up in the air. As a child and teen therapist, I'm seeing an increase in activity and anxiety due to COVID. I attribute much of this to isolation, but more and more it is due to the uncertainties that we are all experiencing. I think that the only thing that you can predict and expect is that you might not be able to predict what comes next. In clinical terms, this could be described as living with a trigger that is not going away. So that begs the question, how do you deal with stress and the unknown? First and foremost, accepting the reality that you are in, that we are all in, can go a long way towards developing coping skills and resiliency, and helping your children to accept the fact that things are different is very important as well. If you and them are able to accept that things right now are up in the air, and that this is a new, but hopefully temporary reality, then it may be possible to find ways to cope. When a person struggles to accept reality as it truly is, then they are likely going to find that their symptoms are worse. And by the way, accepting reality for what it is fits into living your life in a mindful way. I describe on my website how I incorporate mindfulness into my practice, so please check out my videos. This short video, in the text under this recording that I've made, is another way that I will show you how to use mindfulness when you are triggered. I don't pretend that anything that I'm suggesting now is going to revolutionize your life and make you actually feel happy if you are not happy right now. In fact, if you are not happy right now, there are likely some very good reasons for your feelings. And again, accepting reality is an important step towards feeling better. So here are some of the best ways to cope. Number one, educate yourself on facts and try to avoid believing rumors. If you're not sure about something regarding your children in school, and right now there's a lot of information that we don't know and we're not sure of, reach out to the principal of your school or your local superintendent. If they have the information, then they're likely going to give you what the facts are, and that way you're living in reality and not basing your decisions on rumor. If you're in York Region, which is where I live, the YRDSB has their current return to school plan online, and I've provided a link for that on this page. If you have concerns about your health and what to do if you're not feeling well from a COVID perspective, or any perspective for that matter, ask your doctor or contact your local public health department. By getting the facts, you're helping yourself live in your reality, whatever that reality is, and it may actually be better than you expect. Number two, remember to exercise. And I'm very guilty about this as well. Overall health is a combination of your physical or biological health, your mental health, and your social health. When a person feels anxiety, they can get a stomachache. This stomachache can then make it harder to exercise, even when exercise might be the best thing for it. When we don't feel good, social situations become harder to endure. Similarly, when a person gets a stomachache, it can trigger a change in their mood. Physical symptoms can create mental health challenges, just as mental health problems can trigger physical problems. So a person with a stomachache isn't going to feel as good, and likely socially, they're not going to want to be around people. So you can see how it's all interconnected. Caring for the mind involves caring for the body. When your body feels better, then your mental health likely will improve. If you suffer from panic attacks, for example, exercise might help you control them. So number three, communicate visually. Because of the isolation that we are all having to endure, it has become less common to actually see each other. While right now we are in stage 3 in York Region, we still have to wear masks when in common areas. Because communication is mainly nonverbal, wearing a mask means we lose some of the message that we're giving to people and that they're sending to us. Therefore, finding more ways to communicate where we can see each other's faces is important. Use Zoom, FaceTime, or whichever other technology you prefer. Meet at somebody's house outdoors and space yourself so that masks are not necessary. The more people, so the more we, can actually see and talk to each other, the greater the positive impact on our overall moods and mental health it will be. So number 4 is get outside. Before COVID, it can be argued that we spend too much time indoors. In my family, I can argue that I do spend too much time indoors, so there's no argument. Because of COVID, this has gotten worse. One of the best ways to deal with uncertainty is to reconnect with the natural world. If there's a park nearby, go for a walk. Sit on a bench. If you have a backyard, use it. If there is an area with trees and it's safe, take a visit. In my area, there's some nice forest areas where I'll typically go for a walk because I know it's a safe place, and it does help me reconnect with nature. There are times that I'll be in a bad mood on my way to the park or on my way to this forest area, and afterwards I may not be happy, but my mood has normally improved to some extent. Anxiety and depression can be lowered by more time out of the house and in nature. Getting out of the house and feeling the air on your face will likely lift your spirits, so I really encourage you to give it a try. Number 5, get your kids outside. If you have a child or teen who is into video games, then they're using it a lot more than pre-COVID, or that's an assumption I'm making. Because social connections were cut off, PlayStation, Xbox, and computer games have become an important communication tool for gamers. The problem is that communicating about a video game means that talking about other things, such as teachers, sports, school crushes, movies, and other interests get pushed aside and often ignored. So find ways to get your child to disconnect and go outside. Suggestions include family walks, meeting friends, which are now allowed, and outdoor sports. If they like nature, take them to a trail nearby. There's no magic formula for this. Just keep in mind that the more they can do offline, the happier they will be, and likely you as well. Number 6, treat yourself and your family. Compared to the Spanish flu pandemic in the early 20th century, we are lucky to have many more luxuries and ways to cope. Technology allows us to stay connected in ways that were not even considered a century ago. A treat doesn't have to be expensive, nor does it have to be time-consuming. For example, a treat could be a nice warm bath. Others might find that time with a book as a reward. If you normally do a family trip overseas, maybe find a local option. Maybe your family will find a reward that is just going for ice cream or a snack. Whatever works for you is what is best. I'd love to hear from you and know if this was helpful. My email is kevin@hhcw.ca, and my phone number is 416-613-1259. Thank you for listening and stay safe.